In this assignment, you are going to plan a trip, and your trip can be to anywhere in the world, but please pick a city outside of the United States. So when you open up your Google Sheet, you will see this text already in there. So we just need to add where we're going and what we're going to be doing there. So the first step in cell A1, you need to decide where you're going to go. And you can type the name of the city and what country it is in. So for my example, I'm going to use Paris, France. And I'll zoom in a bit so it makes it easier for you to see. Next, I want to make that size 12 font and bold. And then I'm going to merge cells A, B, and C and center align the city that I'm going to. Next, in row 3, we have date departing, date returning, and prices. Let's go and click and drag over those 3 things and make them bold. And then also you'll notice where the text kind of starts to run together because our columns are not wide enough. We need to adjust our column width. To do that, put your cursor between columns A and B, and you can click and drag or just double click and it will adjust the width of your column. Same thing with B and C. So next, let's go ahead and in row 6, it says airline. Let's make that bold. Departing flight and returning flight, let's also make those bold as well. So it says type the airline name here. Well, before we do, let's type the date that we're going to depart. So it's a 10-day trip. So you can just enter a date in the future, and then your return date will be 10 days from that. So if I leave on March 15th, I'm going to return on March 25th. And in this column right here, this is where we're going to end up putting the prices or the cost of everything. So to figure out, first of all, I need a plane ticket. So it says type the name of the airline here. I don't know yet. So I'm going to go to Expedia, and I'm going to depart from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So the code for Grand Rapids, Michigan is GRR. Click on Grand Rapids. And if you don't know the airport code for where you're flying, just type in the name of the city. So Paris, France. And there's multiple airports. I'll just click on that. And there's one traveler. I'm leaving on the 15th and coming back on the 25th. So make sure your departing and returning is correct. And then go ahead and click on search. And when you do that, you're going to see a lot of different options for flying. So you need to look through here. You can see some of them are multiple airlines, and some of those are just a single airline. So as we build this, you'll see up here it says select your departure to Paris. And it's Sunday, March 15th. So I got to pick a flight that I want to fly out on. So I'm going to go ahead and I will take this Delta flight. So I can start to fill out my information now, or I can select it first, but I think I'm going to start filling it out. So I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet. The airline is Delta, and it says type the depart and arrival time. So I already know I'm flying out on the 15th, so I just need to see what time my flight leaves. It leaves at 5:29 p.m. from Grand Rapids, and it arrives in Paris at 8:05 a.m., and that +1 means it's arriving the next day. So let's type 5:29 p.m. And the arrival time was 8:05 a.m. So 8:05 a.m. So I have my airline, my departing flight, and now I just need to look for my return flight. So let's type the depart and arrival time. So before I can get a return flight, I need to go ahead and select this flight. And now it's going to have me look for a return flight. So again, I'll select this fare. Now it says select your return to Grand Rapids. All right, so flying back to Grand Rapids. And this is the price that gets added onto the flight. So if I were to fly one of these other airlines, they add a different price. I'm going to stick with Delta because there's no additional charge because I'm flying round trip. So I think I'll take this flight right here. It departs Paris at 10:20 a.m. and arrives at 5:38 p.m. Okay, so I've entered my information for my return flight. I also added the price, and I'll format this to currency later, but it was $1,121. After I have my flight information on here, the next thing I need to do is find a hotel to stay at. So let's go ahead and row 11, highlight hotel and price per night, and let's make those bold. And it says type the hotel name. So I'm going to go to hotels.com and I'm going to search for a hotel in Paris, France. And I'm going to check in on the 15th and check out on the 25th. Even if your flight has you arriving a day later, you can just use the same dates to make it easier. And then you can do 1 or 2 adults, but I just need 1 room, and I'm going to search. And then it should bring up some different hotels. So the price that they list is the price per night. So I can look through the different hotels. If there's one that I like better than another one, I can pick that one. Some obviously are more expensive than others. I'm just going to go with the first one that I see. So I'm going to type the name of it. And then it says price per night. So the price per night was $153. So I'm going to type in 153. And then I need to click on that cell and format it for currency. For our example, we're not going to include any of the taxes that would come with this. We're going to pretend that $153 is the total price with taxes. So in cell C12, I need to create a formula, and that is going to be equals the price per night. We need to multiply that by 10 because we're staying there 10 nights, and then hit enter. And that's going to be our price for the hotel. After we have our hotel, we're going to go ahead and we're going to find 4 different activities or tours to do in the city. So let's use Google to search for those. So the first thing that I wanted to do in Paris was visit the Eiffel Tower. So I need to figure out what the price of a ticket is. So I did a Google search and I have Eiffel Tower ticket prices. And then I want to go all the way to the top. So the price of that is €25.90. So you can just type the euro price if you want. I'm going to go ahead and convert that from euro to US dollar. So to do that, I went to Google and I typed in euro to US dollar, and I typed in the $25.90 in euro, and it told me that is $28.06 in US dollars. So now I can go back and I can type in the $28.06. So the Eiffel Tower will be $28.06. And again, we can format all these columns later. So now we need to go through and you need to find 3 other things to do. So you should have 4 things total that you are doing when you're in that city. I have now listed 4 different things that I want to see when I'm in Paris. Let's go ahead and let's make our tours bold and our total bold, so those kind of stick out from the rest of our text. The last thing we need to do is format all of column C so that it's formatted as currency.
Don't make me do it.
And then let's go ahead and add up our column. So again, let's go to function, sum, and then click and drag our whole column and hit enter. And that is the total price of our trip. If your sheet looks like this, then you may go ahead and turn it in.